You see it, I done cooked up peak fiction. One Piece episode 1146 is an absolute banger. Now I know y'all ready for this, hey? So grab your golden Oreos and pink lemonade. Them shits fire. Now with the heat. So the scene opens up to Nezjuro continuing to take out the pacifistas who are destroying the marine ships. And once that was said and done, the marines intensified the bombardment of Egghead in order to prevent Luffy and his crew along with Bonnie from escaping the island. Meanwhile, Nezjuro took his leave. So as the giants were escorting Bonnie and the gang to the ship, they ended up crossing paths with the vice admirals, which Vice Admiral Red King wasted no time to get active. And you already know the big homie Frankie, no bitch, he gon' match the energy regardless of who you are. Now before we get into this ass whooping, peep how Vice Admiral Red King got the word Marine tatted on his neck. He really wants niggas to know he's a Marine. Like bro, was the tat really necessary? But yeah, they both pulled up on one another clashing fists, with Frankie overpowering Vice Admiral Red King, hitting him clean in the jaw with a strong right. Like stop playing with my nigga Frankie, he really built like that and he been like that. Cause again, no matter who you are, whether you're an emperor, an admiral, a vice admiral, a Gorosei, it doesn't matter. Frankie gon' stand on business with black Tims on his feet and throw them hard bitches regardless. Gang doesn't back down from shit. You want smoke, he'll run the fade with you in an instant, no questions asked. Now it ain't just a big homie Frankie, cause Jury Bonnie got that dog in her too. Cause Vice Admiral Pomsky pulled up like he was like that, so Bonnie told the giant to watch her dad as she pulled up to get violent. So as Vice Admiral Pomsky's on the move, he's talking head, calling Kuma a weapon, then tries to attack Bonnie. And deadass, I thought he tried to hit her with a mop. I had to go back and look at it again and see that it was a clamshell on a stick. Like what kind of weapon is that? But nonetheless, Bonnie weaved that shit. And she faked the hell out of bro, making it seem like she was gonna hit him with a mean right punch. But instead, she touched his face with her palm while having her de-aging ability active and turned him into a kid. And Bonnie's pissed as hell cause he called her dad a weapon. Now mind you, Bonnie's 10 years old, and you know when it comes to kids, the slightest amount of shit talk about their parents will set them off until you apologize and take back what you said. And Vice Admiral Pomsky over there begging for mercy, but Bonnie's not about to let that shit slide and was like, my dad's a hero with your big chinned ass. Then kicked him clean in the jaw. Just look at his face, you can see he's regretting his decision. But Bonnie wasn't done yet cause she wants bro to take back what he said so she continued the violence. Meanwhile, Vice Admiral Guillotine over here trying to break the fourth wall, so Alice came charging in fast as hell with the ultra mighty punch. And you know this shit finna get crazy cause she's continuously winding that bitch up as she moves. And she tried to rock his shit, but he managed to react just in time, successfully blocking her attack. Now he lucky that shit ain't land cause she pulled up with all the stocks behind that punch. Her entire attribute points went into that one attack. She was ready to knock that nigga off the map. But yeah, the gang gotta pack up the Vice Admirals quickly before the rest of the Straw Hats arrive. Now I'm panning on the other side of things. Mars still trying to get info out of York on the location of the room on the monitor, but York's still panicking. So Mars broke the cuffs that binded York, setting her free, which she then came to the realization on who the monster in front of her truly is. And Mars grabs York and had her guide him to the room he's in search for, and as they make it there, Mars blew a hole in the room. So York told bro to chill cause the location of the transmission transponder snail is hidden in another location. But Mars like, well shit, I'll just destroy the entire lab. But York's like, you better not, as the second floor of building B is for weapon development. First floor is a power plant, and the third floor has high pressure gas cylinders, so if any of them go off, it'll set off everything in the lab, which then the entire lab along with Punk Records would be blown up. So they had to figure out a new plan of action. But suddenly Mars sensed the voice of a small creature which could possibly be the transmission transponder snail. So York described to Mars how it looked and she starts to guide him to its location. Meanwhile, Stussy and Kaku was chatting as they both understand that the monster they just saw was one of the 5 elders. And Kaku tried to rage bait Stussy, but to no avail. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Nami wants to go back for Stussy, but Edison's like, nah, she chose to stay back. Isn't thanking her and then us escaping the best form of repayment? Which Nami's like, yeah, you're right, I'm locked in. But unfortunately, the gang is in a dire situation as 1000 Sunny won't be able to make it to sea with a single coup de burst and instead will fall to the ground. But Edison lets them know that he'll make sure their ship lands on the water safely. So he takes off and Lilith tries to put a stop to him. Now we already know when it comes to anime, if your ally is trying to stop you from doing something heroic, it's GG's. That's never a good sign. That nigga's undoubtedly sacrificing himself. And there's only 3 possible outcomes when it comes to this type of situation. The nigga's either cooked, come out injured, or be completely fine. But yeah, it was already too late as Edison done made his way out the barrier. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Jupiter out here trying to suck up the gang. Pause. So Luffy grabbed hold of Bragi, shot himself forward, and started to sky run over to the city and kick down the top half of a building. Now, one thing about Luffy, he may not be book smart, but this nigga's battle IQ and creativity is on an entirely different level. So he forces Jupiter to turn in his direction, which led Dorian Bragi to now be free from Jupiter's suction. And we see the GO Luffy buff as hell as he's carrying the top half of the building he just kicked off. Then jumped high in the air with it and starts spinning so fast before launching it at Jupiter, forcing Jupiter to throw the hell out that building with no consent. And once that was said and done, Luffy ends up burning out of hockey, causing him to look old, which Dorian Bragi peeped and was like, what the hell, Straw I had you became an unfamiliar old man. Which Luffy's like, yeah, gang, it's cause I've run out of food energy. So Broggy being a W man's hooked him up with some Hikaru meat. Now I probably butchered the fuck out that name, but hey, I'm not a meat connoisseur, my guy. And where he just spawned that bitch from, I have no idea, but what I do know is that bitch stank. Now my first thought was that it was possibly sitting in his pocket for a hot minute. But nah, it's just because it's fermented shark. But you know Luffy gonna be grateful for the free eats nonetheless. So he scarfed it down and regained all his energy. Meanwhile, Warcury was on their tail, so Luffy went out to handle business solo dolo. So he jumped high in the air and used Gum Gum Red Rock and tried to boom Warcury, but to no avail, as Warcury's even more durable than Kaido. Now that's crazy. And peep this impact frame of Luffy being in gear 5, that shit tough. But yeah. And with that, the gang continued to take their leave. Now panning on the other side of things, Saturn pulls up on Nami and the gang. Meanwhile, as Bonnie and the gang packed up the vice admirals, Nezjuro decided to be Sneak Nation certified and cut down one of the giants who helped escort the gang. And now Nezjuro's just standing there looking real menacing before pulling up to run the fade. Meanwhile, Mars walking like he has all the time in the world, like he was never in a rush, as he possibly now found the transmission transponder snail that is causing the broadcast, along with spotting someone that is inside of an incubator with long white hair. And yeah, that was One Piece episode 1146 in all its greatness. You already know this episode is absolutely pure heat, a solid 10 out of 10 for me, cause One Piece never miss. Now, with that being said, if you made it this far, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe, and we moving. Also, I'm taking recommendations, bro, so hit the comments. And more heat on the way.